Oakland, where schools will be back in session tomorrow after a week-and-a-half-long strike. The new contract includes higher wages as well as funding for so-called common good proposals, which had been a major sticking point.
This strike has never simply been about us being able to put food on our own tables, but making sure that we were able to provide for student not only services, but also shifting the way in which we are able to provide instruction to feed the minds of these students.
And those common good issues are intended to improve overall conditions for low-income students. They include help for unhoused students and more resources for historically black schools. Also under the deal, students, parents, and educators will all get a say in the district's decision-making going forward. But as John Ramos reports, there are still plenty of unanswered questions.
The strike is over and both sides are expressing satisfaction with the outcome. But many are wondering what the week-long work stoppage will mean for students in the short term and for the district in the years to come. The agreement wasn't concluded until the early morning hours, so teachers could work if they chose, but were not required to. And while the schools were still mostly empty, it just felt like a relief to parents that the strike was over.
Big day, yeah. It was a chaotic day. You know, it was sort of last minute. I don't think anybody really knew what was going to happen today.
After 7 days of protests and posturing, accusations and acrimony, when it was all over, both the district and the teachers union claimed that progress had been made toward building better schools.
It has always been important to me to move OUSD from a history of crisis towards a culture of stability and achieving quality for every student, family, and employee in our district. We have moved the needle significantly in that direction today.
We are incredibly proud to be able to announce that we have come to an agreement today and that we are able to bring students back into schools in a better than we left them.
But at McClymonds High School, senior Patrick Boatman wondered what the unexpected pause will mean for his plan to attend UC Merced next year.
It left me a little clueless at first because I'm like, strike, that's just random. Where did that come from? Why couldn't it just happen during like winter break or something, time where like it wasn't that important to really pass? But it's like now, you know, that's kind of stingy to me because it's like, dang, y'all just took away that important week that we needed to get prepared.
The district says it will be tight, but they are confident that students will be able to meet all their requirements in these last few days of school, and graduation ceremonies will be held. But what about the future? The teachers union didn't follow a traditional bargaining process, instead declaring an unfair labor practice work stoppage in the last few weeks of school, putting students and parents under the gun. Lakeisha Young heads a parents advocacy group that was at odds with the union's decision to strike when it did.
Strike is supposed to be used as last resort. I don't believe that on May 1st, we were at the last resort. If anything, there was significant process being made, and they should have stayed at the table.
So will these kind of last-minute strikes become a go-to tactic? The district superintendent didn't want to ponder that.
I'm an eternal optimist, or I wouldn't have lasted this long in the job. I'm already moving on in terms of the things that we need to do to repair harm. For us to be able to provide the conditions that we need for our students, it means all of us are going to have to be reflective on how we work together differently.
School goes back into normal session on Tuesday, and everyone will be scrambling to finish up, just in time for the doors to close again for summer.
And that new labor contract would run through the end of the 2024-25 school year. A ratification vote is currently being conducted for the rank and file union members.